What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hustle Kitchen podcast. I'm your host, Hussain with my co-host, Omer Rana. Today's podcast, probably the most entertaining we've had so far, with our special guest, Karan, serial entrepreneur, where we discuss interesting topics such as pivoting in COVID, growing retail, business mindset, and also his latest venture, which is the Gladiator Mastery, which actually is going to be active in the next 2 weeks on March 11th and 12th. So if you have the chance, sign up now. So, Karan.
Sorry.
Karan.
Karan.
Guys, it's not Karen, it's Karan.
That's it.
Let's make that clear.
Yeah. What did they call you in Wales?
Everything. Kieran.
Karen's a name.
Kuran. I've had Karen. Curry. Yeah. Current bun.
Well,
every name under the sun with a K.
Well, as a Hussain, in Australia, I always used to get Jose.
Okay.
I was like, okay, cool. I can do the Mexican thing. That's not a problem. Or Spanish. You know what I mean?
Hey, Jose.
That's a
cool name.
How long have you been in Bahrain for, by the way, Karan?
So I moved out here 2009.
Yeah.
And before that, I was in London. And it's been fantastic. 13 years here now and thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah.
What made you choose Bahrain in the first place?
Exactly.
You know, good question. I was in work and I got a call from a friend who was out here. And they said they need someone to come and help set up a division for a company. And how do you fancy it? And literally the day before, I broke up with my girlfriend at the time.
No way.
And I said, wow, this is crazy. This is, yeah, go on, why not? And this was London just as the recession was really taking foot. And things were going okay with my side, but you could sense the atmosphere.
Yeah.
Everything was starting to change in London.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, okay, I'll have the meeting. And the guy flew in, met me at a hotel in London, had an hour interview, meeting, offered me the job, and said, okay, fancy starting in 2 months. And I said, why not?
Just
why
like
not?
that.
Let's just do it. Let's just try, and let's see what happens. And yeah, never look back. And it's been great since then.
Have you lived in other countries in the Khalij?
No. So I born and raised in UK, lived here, and I also lived in Dubai as well. I was half and half with work, so I lived in Dubai for about 2 years.
What did you think of it? You moved here first, right? And then you lived
here.
in Dubai?
Well, I still lived here. Whole family were here.
So
and
you
I
were
was just back and
in
forth.
between?
Yeah, but still residence. Everything I was mainly here.
What did you prefer, Dubai or Bahrain?
I prefer, you know, it's a double question. One is on the personal side for family here.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love this place. It's home. You can enjoy it. It's a lot more relaxed kind of environment. Whereas Dubai, I get a sense of energy from that. And I land and all of a sudden from the airport, I feel like, you know, right, let's go. And things are happening and, you know, great people as well. So it's wonderful to have both. And
It's completely different.
Totally different.
Yeah.
It's like London and North Wales, where
you know, they say like in Dubai, like I lived in Dubai as well, like for a couple of years.
How long?
I was there for like 2 years,
Yeah.
right? You really need like self-discipline over there.
Yeah.
It can be crazy.
Were you single?
I'm single.
Were you single?
I was single.
You were single. Okay.
So I'm saying you really need some self-discipline when you're in Dubai.
No, yesterday I was having a conversation with a very well-known chef. He's based in Bahrain now. And he was telling me funny stories about living in Dubai. It was like, I left there with nothing but the shirt I went on. I was like, I spent all my money.
That's crazy, isn't it? And I've heard so many stories like that as well. And people leave, they have a great time, and then it's just, they go back penniless, literally, you know? But yeah, you're right. You've got to be disciplined. I think that's the key to Dubai.
There's a lot of temptations over there. But what I did notice, because I was actually working there.
Okay, not just a 2 year.
So for the 2 years. So it's more like being in London. Like, you know, it's hectic.
Yes.
You know, like Bahrain's very relaxed.
Yeah.
Right? Dubai's super hectic, you know? And so I actually didn't have the energy to go out. At the end of the day, like I'm tired from a day's work. I just want to sleep.
The only thing is you've got the sun, right? Yeah. And apart from the summer months, just like here, it gives you I think that energy boost I find compared to London or to the UK where you wake up and it's grey and miserable.
Or it's dark.
It's always dark.
You get to work, it's dark. You finish work, it's dark. Like
Depressing.
it's just
the newspaper is just, it's that kind of, everything's bland, everything is grey, everything is like that.
No one smiles. No one smiles.
Unless England's doing well in the World Cup.
But
then you get the smiles.
If you take the train and everyone's grumpy and look at anyone the wrong way, it's like, what you looking at? Like
Yeah.
You're looking at people the wrong way, Olaf.
you just look at someone.
Sounds like Hussein's looking wrongly at people.
But no, when I moved back from London to Australia, I noticed.
Okay, you're in Australia as well.
Yeah, so like it's completely different. Like Australia, you got the sun.
Where in
Everything's
Australia?
big. It's Sydney.
So, lovely.
Hussein's technically an Aussie.
Technically an Aussie, yeah.
Right.
So when I went back, because I did half my life in London, half in Australia.
Okay.
And so the last time I went back to Australia, I was like, I would never live in London again.
No.
Like, there's no comparison.
I'm exactly the same. I feel the same. A lot of people I know, friends, family, all in the UK, London. One of my biggest regrets actually is not leaving London sooner.
Oh my God, samesies.
Right?
I was talking about this just today. I think, and the person I was having lunch with, we were describing it as you're in that bubble.
Yep.
And it's not until you leave that bubble, you're like, oh wait, London's not the center of the universe.
No, it's not.
And actually, it's a bit terrible.
Yes.
But we've just been programmed to think this is amazing.
That's it. That's
and then
it.
you come out here and you're like, oh my God, it's so nice.
I mean, the best thing about London is the geographical location.
I mean,
Like, as in
it's
for
not,
traveling purposes.
yeah, but it's not good enough to want to live in the grey and the dark and the cold and the tax.
And the tax.
And even traveling is still not that convenient. If you're trying to get to Heathrow, you're trying to get anywhere. It's still
it's a drama.
But it's just it's a city that is great to visit now. I find
Yeah, as a holiday. In summer.
holiday. And then after 5 days,
Yeah.
I'm already getting into Bahrain mode. And,
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm saying, oh man, I have to do this myself, and so it's like I'm off, I'm out, And then you realize it's.
Well, your first trip back, this is going to sound terrible.
Yeah, it's
I
very
confess
bad.
this is going to
It's
sound
really
terrible.
bad, this I
But
know.
do you remember the first time you went to the supermarket back in England, and then I personally stood there like a lemon, like, oh wait, I have to put the stuff in the bag. Well, you sit in the petrol station, you're like,
I carried on sitting there. And first of all, I went round the wrong side of it, and then I had to back up, and I'm sitting there, and I was like, I can't beep the horn. And then I was like looking around, and then I was like, oh damn, I have to do this myself. And
did you have any family members there silently judging you, or actually just saying like, what's wrong with you? I'm like,
I'll tell you a quick story. I came back on the first or second New Year's Eve after being here. It's 2010, 2011. And my brother hosted a big house party. It was great. Had a great time. Finished off late, 3 a.m. Woke up 9 o'clock, heavy head. And he was like, right, Karan, come on. He passes me the brush, right? He gets the mop out, and he goes, come on, we'll have this done in 3 hours. And I'm looking at it, and I'm going, no, man, there's got to be
Gotta hire someone.
There's got to be someone. He goes, what are you talking about? And I was like, there's got to be someone. And I know by saying this is going to come across so badly, but it's the absolute truth. And
you just get used to it.
And the look, it was there. It was just like,
Yeah.
oh my God, what do you think you are? Like,
You spoiled boy.
Oh my God. Yeah, my family did not keep their opinions to themselves. They made many comments about like, what is wrong with you?
No, but to be honest, right? So when you're in London, and let's say you're going to a place and you park like, let's say half an hour, 30-minute walking distance to the place, you're like, man, I got the best parking spot, right? And then as soon as you land in Bahrain, I don't know why, psychologically, just lazy.
you go around 338 4 times.
Just to get by the door.
And people, you could just park. You could just park at the front of it, and it'll take you 1 minute to walk.
Yeah.
Literally 60 seconds to go
Yes.
to any restaurant in 3
Yes.
3,
Yeah.
and you still go around. You'll get stuck in traffic, go around
oh
again.
my
Go,
God.
oh, I just missed a spot. You go. Spend 20 minutes.
Exactly. And it's like, like if you're driving in London for an hour, you're like, that's close.
Yep.
I live. Like he claims he lives in London. I'm like, you're not in
sorry,
London.
The postcode is London.
His postcode's London, right? And I'm like, but if you're going in and out like 30, 40 minutes, you're like, yeah, that's pretty close. I'm, centrally located.
Yes.
Here, it's like, go to Amwaj, you're like, oh man, it's so far.
Yeah.
So
I
I'd
don't wanna
like
go
to
to
settle an argument about something. Is Crystal Palace London?
Yeah, see, it's not.
It's on the outskirts.
That's
right?
what I'm
But
saying.
it's regarded as a London club. Right? right?
Thank you.
All right, but there's no
So no,
underground. You'd have to
no.
take the
About
British
2
rail.
hours
You're going to take the British rail.
I'm sorry, but that was the answer. You
Central
said the football team is considered a London club.
It is
Yeah,
considered.
it's
like-
outer
there you
London.
are.
Outer
No,
London.
it doesn't make a difference. It's London.
Borderline.
It's a London club. Crystal Palace is London.
Is this who you guys
Answered.
support? So
No.
That's where my family.
So his family lives,
okay.
right? And you know, like, and I remember like when I went to visit him, and like I was staying with him, and then get a walk in the rain, go up the hill,
Hussain
to get to the
refused
train
to walk
station.
15 minutes
and it's
and made a very big drama.
British rail. It's not underground.
He made a very big drama of walking in 15 minutes. He was a very big baby about it. He was very much so.
I think we all have, if we're honest, right? I think we all have been at some point.
Yeah.
Like, it's just you're absolutely right. Just certain things that you just get so used to.
Yeah.
And it's just life. And this is what I think what's an amazing attraction about this country
Yeah.
and this lifestyle
Yeah.
in the Middle East.
The
You know,
luxury.
the strangest
Yeah.
part of it is when you try to explain to people, like, you're in the bubble. And believe me, when you step out of this, you're going to be so happy. You're really going to love not living in London. They just don't get it. They don't see it.
No.
Like, no, this is the center. My brother refuses to leave. He refuses to leave London.
Well, as long as you're in the bubble, you can stay in the bubble.
Yeah.
You know, like you're not comparing.
Yeah, but it's I think, I'm going to sound like such a pretentious person here.
Oh, go for it. This is where we're going with this.
That's where we're going today. Okay, so I'm going to misquote all of this, and everyone can correct me on the internet. But I think there was a philosopher. I want to say it's either Kant or somebody else. And it's like,
we don't have Joe Rogan's assistant to fact check you
I
right
know,
now.
I know. It was, it's something like, would you rather be a satisfied swine, or he said, would rather be a dissatisfied human than a satisfied swine. And it's about knowing the higher pleasures and being unhappy because you don't have them, or
Why do you
not
have to be
knowing the
one
higher
of those?
pleasures. Well, I mean, that's essentially how people look, that break it down. Like the thing you're saying about London, you're happy because your limit of knowledge is that.
Correct.
But would you rather be unhappy but know the limit of happiness is higher, or be happy by not being aware because you're in the bubble?
I would always rather be
I'd
aware.
rather be in the bubble
really?
in that situation.
In that situation.
Well,
Yeah.
no, this situation is called life. You're in that
No,
situation.
I'll give you an example, right? So let's talk about traveling, right? So when you fly, so if you fly in economy your whole life, it's normal. You don't think anything of it. Once you fly first class a few times, and then you go back to economy, you're like, yeah, it's not the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'd rather just not be aware.
And I thought I was being pretentious. Hussain's example was
His
horrific.
example of first class.
I
love the
darling. My first class
not
seat.
that big.
My body just takes me left on the plane. I don't know what to do. I'm just naturally adjusting.
You're going to have a long way to get back from that Hussain. Man of the people. Huh?
No, but it's true, right? So like, if you've never experienced something,
Yeah,
then you're not aware of what you're missing out on.
true.
Well, I mean, is it true? That was the whole point of this thing.
Yeah, I think it's varied. It's varied to different people. And my wife is exactly the same as you. I'm the other. I would like to know there's more out there, and then how can I build to getting that?
Same.
I like that.
That type of
Chase
work.
to give the goal,
it
that
makes,
chase.
It makes life exciting.
Yeah.
And otherwise, I think it could be potentially limited beliefs, and this is what it is the best of a situation. But then again, you're happy, so that's one way of looking at it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it depends on.
So Karan, I met you on just literally because I came across your post, or you liked one of my posts or something like that, and I love your content on
Thank you.
Instagram.
And
by the way.
likewise, guys.
And your content really looks like the typical content I would see on these business accounts and whatever.
Okay.
Very professionally spoken.
So when it's
very
typical,
well done.
it's like it's a
the
perfect
professional,
example of this type of content being done well.
Yes.
Right.
Like it's totally not amateur. It's like really good.
Yeah, you watch it and it's just so well shot and produced. Look, I'm gonna go in a better direction. Why don't you tell us what your content's about?
Yes.
So when I started this, I've been wanting to talk and to express things, and a lot of my life was conversations like this with people, and we would be giving nuggets to each other, talking, whether it's on business or anything. And then someone said to me, they goes, Karan, you should be saying this out, telling more people about this. And sometimes it's just quotes or just things that I would just say, why don't you do that? Well, that's a bit dumb. Why don't you look at it that way? And I don't realize I'm saying it till I've actually said it. And then I found that some people found it they really liked it. A couple obviously wouldn't say much and they found it a little bit offensive. But I just rather speak the truth, and I just see what I see, and that's it. And so, you know, this has been an amazing journey, and where I am going with this is I just wanted to, it actually started, I want to wake up Bahrain.
Bahrain.
That was the initial, and it still is, that is the goal. I felt Bahrain is a sleepy country compared to Dubai, we're just talking, London, and there isn't enough knowledge out there directly to help people. And that's what I want to do. I wanted to help entrepreneurs, business people, even people in careers. I understand sometimes it's really difficult and we just don't have the guidance, you know, and I wish I had these tools or some learnings when I was starting out. And that was one of the reasons why I started this. And it was just to provide value to people where I can. It may not be everyone's cup of tea, but also I'm having fun with it. And just saying what I want to say with no one telling me that you can say that, you can't say that. Because I think, again, it's that limited beliefs. People will, and I had this for a couple of years, people would say, you shouldn't be talking this, you should be discussing this, put this in this context, incorporate everybody so everyone feels. And I said, that's where we're going wrong as a society. We're trying to please everybody. But in fact, why don't we just say what we're really truly on our mind, what we want to say, and you can like it, don't like it, no problem.
Exactly.
And that's it.
And there'll always be a following for people who do like it.
That's
and people
it.
don't like it, don't have to follow it.
And that's it, absolutely. And I think once I got over the fact of criticism, I think that was one of the biggest things. The biggest obstacle for me was worrying what other people thought.
The internet warriors.
Yes.
The keyboard warriors.
Yeah. And even in your mind, right? You're going, oh man, is this what's someone going to say? How are they going to approach this? What about some comments? Because that's what people were saying right at the beginning. They said, oh, what are you going to do with comments? And I went, I'll just show them love. So I got a couple, only a few, touch wood. I mean, a couple of haters or something who said, oh, this is boring.
Why would they be upset with
There's
it?
always haters, always haters.
I've watched your content. I don't understand why someone complains.
Exactly. I was going to ask the same thing because it's super professionally, like, you're not saying anything weird or wrong.
I don't get it. What would you complain about? It's a bit weird.
You know, they'll find something. They'll be like, the lighting wasn't great.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I had one, something like that. And I went, thank you so much. And that's it. And you know what else is there to say?
The lighting wasn't great. I mean, you've got to...
Of course, and internally you're going, well, I'd love to see...
I should get new lights.
It sent me on a different direction. I'm like, what was going on in this person's day where they got that invested in what you just did to say lighting?
You'd be shocked.
What happened to that person?
What
is weird?
There are.
You know what it is? Someone will look at it, right? So, they'll go through your post and be like, "What a show off! Let me think of something to take him down." That's just a normal human behavior of these internet trolls. That's what I'm talking about.
That's right. And you know what? Now I've realized very quickly. Touch wood, I haven't had that many, and even if I do, it's actually might be a good sign. The fact that you're attracting more people, more to the platform. Yeah. And I just show them love back. What can one say when I went, thanks so much, love you? What can one say?
I mean, it's like, Grant Cardone, so if you don't have haters, you're not making any noise.
That's right. That's right. He literally says that.
Yeah, exactly.
That brings me on to an interesting point.
I don't think I have enough haters yet.
Oh, really?
I need more.
We need more haters. Oh. Come on, guys, give us thumbs down.
So, what do you guys think about the new app that came out this week then, given we're talking about places to talk and truth and stuff like that? Donald Trump's app came out.
Did it?
Truth, it did.
Right.
And it was #1 in the App Store.
What does the app do?
So,
just Donald Trump with his face on it and just talking.
So
segments.
Essentially, yeah, because he got banned off social media.
Yes.
So he made his own.
Oh yeah, he was talking about this for years.
That's right.
So it's finally released his own social network.
His own social network, and it got very heavily funded, as you would imagine. And it was #1 in the App Store, day one.
I'm not surprised.
But would you go on it?
Yeah. Why not? You know, think about Donald Trump's a perfect example, Because of all the haters, he gets free publicity.
Absolutely.
So when he was president and when he was doing his elections, he's just getting free publicity. He's not spending as much as these other guys.
Yeah. So there seems to be very much a move going that direction because Donda 2 was also released on Kanye's own service.
What's Donda?
So he released his album.
Okay.
And I think I don't know if this is true. I read this online. I didn't bother doing the math myself. So again, this is what the article said, that he was saying that the way the music industry works, at least I guess for him in America, that in order for him to, I think he made a couple of million off the sales of this particular song or album, whatever it was. But in order to have made the same amount of money, he would have had to sell something like 20x more sales for him to make the same amount of money that he did, because he didn't go through the record industry.
He went
they say
direct.
Something like 80%.
Direct to market.
Direct to market. So I think it's on something called STEM or something. I don't know. But very interesting. So I think people like yourself who are taking the view that, you know, I've got something that I want to share with the world, and you know, if you don't like it, you don't like it. And people are now going very much that. I mean, they've got like huge backing, so they can financially make their own platforms. But I think we're going to start to see a wave of this.
Absolutely.
Because this is exactly what you're doing. It's personal branding.
Yeah.
Right? And with the more you grow it, the more free leverage you have for your own businesses as well.
Yes.
What do you actually do, Karan? Because I know on your Instagram I saw Baby Essentials.
That's right.
Is that your main business?
So that's one of our main businesses. So we've that's a retail online store selling all types of baby products.
Is it online only?
And we have a physical
Oh,
store.
you have a physical.
Yeah. Where's the shop?
In Seath Mall.
Okay.
Just by first floor, new extension by BBK Bank.
Yeah.
And we've been in the mall for about 2.5 years. No, actually longer, sorry. 2016. No, 2017. 2017, yeah.
So
9th of Jan 2017.
You survived Corona.
We survived Corona.
That's a good tick to have.
Yes, and you know, very fortunate. Worked very hard as well through that period. It was tough, but we put in strategies, and I think this is where this has come from. It's because I've been down and failed more than most people, and been in the trenches, as I call it, which is why I wanted to talk and explain. And as the journey continues, I'll be having more, telling more on why I'm doing this, and the type of content I'm trying to put out. And I think it's motivated by that. It's motivated by my past experiences. We also have a distribution company, part of Baby Essentials, so we sell products throughout the Middle East. Same baby products, car seats, that type of thing, and we sell that across the Middle East. So you
10x'd.
I 10x.
Don't want to just retail. Let's distribute as well. You have an agency like for these products?
Yes. Yep. That's right. Yeah.
Smart.
We've got a sole agency for 3 brands, and then 1 brand for just Bahrain, and I also own a recruitment company as well.
Okay. Which one?
It's called Bespoke Professionals, and
sounds familiar for some reason.
So we set that up in 2012, and that was servicing major international law firms, banks, multinational companies, helping them find talent. And this was, so I've learned a lot through that as well.
So we're recruitment.
Yeah,
so it's corporate recruitment.
What did you start first, Karan? Like
So
the recruitment or?
It was recruitment.
Okay.
And it was service-based, and that's what I went to law school.
Oh, really? Which one? So did I.
Nottingham Trent Law School.
Okay,
But
He's went to law school as well.
did you?
I did. I went to
both
College of
law
Law in Store Street.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
When I was in law school, I realized I didn't want to do this, and I wanted to. And this is actually a waste of my life and my time. I just said, right, I want to work in the city, and I want to make money, and I want to get into business. And my dad said, he gave me one bit of advice. He's an entrepreneur, and he said, "Listen, son, do whatever you want to do," because I was raring to go, and I'll tell you about my childhood later on. And he said, "But you just do one thing: work in a business for 5 years. After that, do what you want. You got to eat shit, understand shit, see good stuff. You'll see that. You'll see everything. 5 years is a." So I said, "Yeah, okay, that's fair enough, and that sounds pretty good." So I went into the city, and I worked I got a job as a legal recruiter for a top financial services company in the city. I did that for like 3 years and crushed it. Did really, really well, and that's how I got the call to come out to Bahrain.
Okay.
And we set up, so me and the team here, we did a great job. We were recruiting for major international law firms, banks, big companies. And yeah, it was just going strength to strength. In 2012, I said, right, got to do my own business. My 5 years was up, 2007, 2012, and opened up Bespoke Professionals. And we were very fortunate. A lot of the clients we were working with still wanted to work with us because it's relationships. It's it's not the name. It could be called, water bottle. No one's really bothered. It's they're more just interested in the people that they're working with.
Yeah.
And during this time and before, I was working in as well. I did stints in Singapore. I was out in Europe, in the US. So I was recruiting for companies all across, and that gave me an amazing array of experience working with different types of personalities, companies, big companies, some that had 10,000 employees, and speaking to the board, and it was amazing. So I had amazing opportunities even across the Middle East, and we really grew that, and it was really good fun. So recruitment, it's been a backbone of mine. I would say I've probably interviewed 10,000 people.
Wow.
in my career already. Yeah,
that's crazy.
And there were times where I have hundreds of CVs and I can just flick through it. So. That's been one of the things. And then what happened was I was in the service-based industry, and I said, a little bit like what we were talking off camera, it was just how sometimes frustrating it can be to you're getting all the same questions. It's, can you send more information? Let me think about it next month. And you're like, what is there to decide? And after a while, I started to think about it. I said, I need something that can make money and instantly. So we got into the baby business, and that was through my wife, nothing to actually do with me. She started it, and she found a massive niche where at the time in Bahrain, 2015, we had just had our son. His name is Kian, and there was no real great baby products. So she found products from the US. We went on holiday, and she started speaking to some of her friends who were also pregnant at the time or just had a baby, and said, oh, by the way, I'm here. If you guys want anything, they were like, yeah, sure, I'd get stuff and I'd buy it from you. She's like, no, don't worry, I'll just bring it back. And no, seriously, we'd buy it. And what happened was we came back with about 10 suitcases worth of product, right? We came back. I have a pool table in our house, and this is my old house, and she laid all the products out on the pool table. And in 2 weeks, we sold everything.
Oh, wow. And
it was about $5,000 profit. Just straight off the bat.
Amazing.
In 2 weeks. And we looked at each other and we said, oh, wow, there's something here.
You can replicate this.
You can replicate this, right? Absolutely. And we said, wow, this is great. And so what did we do? We booked a flight out again, and we went out, and we went and made some contacts, and we ended up buying so much stuff. But we didn't have a shipper. And by this point, there was too many cases and things to bring back. And so I had these boxes. There was like 30 boxes of stuff. And I was in the US, and I'm trying to then call up companies in Bahrain to say, we need this ship.
Yeah.
And so we managed to somehow, there's always a solution, right?
Yeah.
And there's always, when there's a problem, there's a solution. So we made it happen. And we got that in. And then from there, it just kind of grew. And it was an amazing story. And within, I would say I think it was like 6 months, we were in a mall as well.
Wow.
So
Nice.
it was that was just the immense growth.
I love the fact that you started this grassroots, just testing, whilst other people will just go all in and just open a shop and hope it works. You actually saw developing, and it made sense to organically grow like that.
That's right.
So how did you walk through Corona? Because we were talking about this as a big tick. If you my fiance says this often, that if you didn't survive Corona, you didn't have a business model. Mm-hmm. If you have,
that's correct.
Yeah. So how was the experience for you?
I think it's knowing what the pitfalls are going to be. So when Corona, the COVID situation happened in 2020, I think February, we started to see signs. I knew immediately the whole system's going to change here. It's going to change, and it was quite sad actually, because I would see a lot of other shop owners, a lot of other people in business, and I say, guys, we're onto something. This is going to be world changing. I'd always been really interested in history, but more financial history, not the stuff from Vikings, right? Like they teach you in school, and you have to do that for 6 years. But
such useful pieces of knowledge we're given in the UK.
The dinosaur curriculum. And
I remember how
it's really helped me in
we were taught. I want to say if you guys had the same thing about how agriculture worked in the Victorian era. And crop rotation. I was given that piece of gem.
What I really found amusing about the UK, this not to deflect from this conversation, was that you learn, like, for example, US history on who the presidents were, but we have no idea who the prime ministers were.
No, that's right. That's absolutely right. You even knew the years Abraham Lincoln was in office.
Wait,
you knew how he died. You knew everything. But you go back before, Margaret Thatcher, and it was like, I don't know who
what happened. Yeah,
we didn't learn the US presidents.
No, you do now. I'm telling you, yeah.
Really?
But you don't learn UK prime ministers.
and yet, in the education system, what do? Everything is on a phone now. Everything's that knowledge. So what are we still... I've got kids. I've got a 15-year-old and a 16-year-old, and I don't know what they're learning at school, honestly. Like some of the stuff, like my daughter came back. She wants to go into business and economics, and she said, Dad, for like 6 years I've been learning about plants and photosynthesis, and in geography it's about a rock, a sedimentary rock, and we're laughing because it's like, and they don't just talk about it for 20 minutes and that's it. Even that would be a waste of time. But they go on for 6 years of this, and then it's only at 18 or 16 they say, right, now what do you want to do? And you knew way before what you want to do, right? So that's a conversation that I'd love to carry it on. It's 100-year-old curriculum, and it's crazy. So anyway, coming back to this, it's just I would look at financial history, looked at what happened with the Spanish flu, and I saw that, but I just knew we're in for another 2008. It could be another 2008 type of time, and I immediately told the team. I went in straight away. This was a month before literally the first lockdown. And I said, guys, this is a new era. It's changing. And they all looked at me quite blankly, go, what are you talking about? And I said, trust me, everything is going to change. Everything, our life as you know, it's going to be different. And I said, who's with me? Who's with me on going online? We've got to pivot, and we've got to do it quickly.
So that's when you first launched the website?
No, we actually had the website, but to actually work it. Because at the time,
focus
it was
on
maybe
it,
5% of our revenue. And it was more of a passive type of online where we didn't really do much work on it. And which was bad from our side anyway. But I said, right, now it's going to be almost, we're going all 100%. We had to get developers in, change everything around. And I asked the team, I said, look, it's a total different sales now. It's going to be selling online. It's going to be selling on the phone. Old school baby, right? And, the new generation, well, I'm still the new generation. I'm millennial, but a lot of my generation don't know how to pick up a phone, do not know how to engage with a customer. And
they don't like it.
Absolutely. And that's where I've seen a lot of people sadly fail because we're too scared to make those phone calls.
But you're a recruiter with your whole job is on the phone.
10,000 interviews.
10,000 interviews, right? And just reading the situation. So, we turned the whole business around by just moving it to a conventional model of online, following up with customers, just doing basics. And the team were on board. A couple who weren't on board.
There were people who weren't on board?
Oh, yeah, because it's
you're changing the way they work.
What they used to.
How old were these people, if you don't mind me asking? You don't have
Younger.
to answer.
Oh, no, maybe 25.
Okay.
No.
Yes.
And they were like, no, I don't do digital.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually,
they don't want to be on the phone, I assume.
Yeah. There was a couple who said, I'd love to train. So I said, of course, fine. I love that.
Absolutely.
I love that, and I'll spend all my time with that. One said flat out, or two said, no, I'm amazing when customers walk in. And
physically,
And I don't know anything about this online stuff. And I was like, what are you talking about?
25-year-olds?
Oh, yeah. And
my God,
and
that's
I was
so
like,
shocking.
No, seriously, it was real. And I was like, no, come on, you sure? And they were like, no. So I said, well, I don't know if there's a job here, sadly. So they left, and then the ones who wanted to learn and stay on, they did. And that's what it was about. It's also about, cutting the fat as well, where it is, and making those hard decisions. And I tell you what, it sounds bad because some people now will be thinking, going, oh my God, you're so mean. But it's what you've got to keep the vehicle afloat. You've got to keep the vessel, afloat. You don't let that ship sink, because if you can just make it through that storm, right, with the team that you've got on board, you're going to grow and you're going to be absolutely great. A lot of other companies there in the mall were speaking to me and they were saying, Karan, how are you doing? How are you staying open? Because shops were closing all by the size. You've seen Seaf Mall.
It was a ghost town.
Ghost town. Absolute ghost. It's getting better, but it was really bad at one point. And I would tell them, I said, listen, whoever can't adapt, you have to let go to save the business so you can fight another day. And do you know what happened? They were like, no, I can't do it. I can't let go of certain people. They're like,
they feel bad.
Right? They felt bad. And I said, I understand. And I felt kind of awkward saying it, but this is what it was. I was just giving my honest advice.
Facts is a fact.
Right? Facts is fact. And sadly, 2 of them who did not change went out of business. And I remember the person was crying and it was a very sad day. And he even said, can you take on one of my team? So I actually even took someone on during Corona. Just because it was, it meant a lot for him. And then I really found out that the staff were never even bothered anyway. They were never working hard. They were never trying their best. They were just carrying on in the normal. It was a bad miscommunication with how they're talking to their team. You've got to be in it together. And there was no fight. I saw what happened there was no fight in a lot of people. So that's what it was. And we were working flat out. 16, 18-hour days is very normal for me. And we went through COVID. It was tough. You have to renegotiate a lot of different things. You have to pivot. You have to change the way you work, the way you do. And then what you find is when you can actually grow during a period like that because you're attracting better talent to join your company, right? Your customers know that you're still there. You're serious. They'll come to you. They're getting more advice from you and for their babies. And so you just, what I just said was just flip it. Just go, let's all max out and just like go for it. And it worked. And that was really just from learning, from seeing what had happened previously in history. And you just got to have a fight. You got to have that hunger, the hustleness.
That's amazing.
I think did you guys read about how much in online payments were made in Bahrain? I think in the last year.
No.
It was, I remember seeing a big number.
Have a guess.
I was going to say $1 billion, but it can't be.
Billion what currency? Do you know?
Dollars.
So I think it was, what do you think?
$3 billion.
So I think it was 500 million
dinar. So like
So
it's about 1.2.
Yeah, but it was the other interesting point was the percentage increase was wild. I don't remember what it was, but it was a wild. Yeah, so like the move you were making, lots of people did do that transition, and those ones who did reap the benefits.
But I'm really curious. So, how did the online work for you?
Yes.
And was it how was it compared to pre-COVID? Not the online, as a business, I mean.
Oh, as a business?
Did you increase? Did you decrease? Were you maintained?
We maintained.
So
we actually with the first couple of months we were down, and then we started to level off, and we were maintaining, and then as we pushed harder, then we started to increase. But it was just a totally different ball game. We had about 4 or 5 computers in front of us, phones. It was a WhatsApping. There was orders coming through like crazy on Instagram, DMing and WhatsApp. So the whole business model had completely changed.
And how is it now, the retail to online?
Oh, it's.
Because before you said it was 5%.
Yeah, and I'm using online as WhatsApp online. So someone still says
anything online.
Digital.
Digital.
Digital. I think now it's like 72%. Digital.
Crazy.
Even though we have a store in Seaf Mall.
Crazy. Crazy.
Yeah, because people are, once they've also bought, then they'll rebuy, or we're following up. Now we're just.
So then I have a question I want to ask on this point. So if you really adapted and adopted digital because you had to.
Yes.
So moving forward for the next trend, do you think you'll be an early adopter or you'll be forced into it?
Oh no, I'm going to be an early adopter.
Are you going to open a metaverse shop? I led you down the path there.
I need to spend a bit more time looking into this, to be perfectly honest. But the metaverse sounds pretty interesting. What's going on, and maybe you'd enlighten me on where you see that.
Because
real estate's getting huge on
real
that
estate's
now.
getting huge.
Yeah.
It's still got a couple of years to go, before we get there. But it's now the trend. We're starting now. But my question to you, which is out of curiosity,
as he changes the topic,
he
doesn't want to answer the metaverse.
I'll come back to the metaverse just now. I just had one more question on this. Is it worth having the store there physically?
Ooh.
Good question.
The cost of it versus the reward.
I would say for the hassle, no, because it's more just hassle than it is. But I think yes, purely so that someone can touch, feel, see a product. And I think first-time moms who want to, or dads who want to buy products, want to see it. And once they have that assurance and that comfort level, then that's great. So it's effectively like a car showroom, as it were. Just come, touch, feel. Yeah. And a lot of work is done. The purchasing is done in the office, right? So it's that's how I'm seeing it happen, and it's I think it's still needed. So, but yeah, there's a lot of hassle associated with that, and so we've looked at all avenues. Right? Should we just go completely online? Should we, still do what we're doing? And a lot of people get interested in, I need to open up a lot more stores and different kinds of malls here. And sometimes that is a good way for some and it's a bad way for another.
How much of your sales are Bahrain compared to the Khalij?
I would say,
don't mind me asking.
It's absolutely, I'd say about 92%
is Bahrain.
So
then you've got a real scope to grow outside of the country then. You're doing well here, you learnt your lessons. So your next step is jumping the borders.
Are you getting online sales from outside of Bahrain?
We're getting a few, yes. Okay. We're getting a few. For our distribution, we're selling almost, I'd say 99% is all outside of Bahrain.
Okay.
So we're selling products to retailers. B2B, all outside of Bahrain. And so that's one where it's growing, and that's growing rapidly. The retail market, absolutely, Saudi Arabia is a huge potential market for us. And when that causeway is open, things are good with business. So we sell. We're very lucky. We sell to the royal family here.
Amazing.
We make maybe about 5 deliveries a day to the palaces.
Amazing.
Yeah. So it's wonderful. They've been very supportive.
Do you spend a lot on online ads to drive traffic to the site?
Not as much. We do on Instagram ads at times. We've got now about 27,000 followers on Instagram, and we need to work more on that, to be honest with you, and to work hard on more social media. But we've got some really cool things coming up.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And you guys will be the absolute first to know. So it's gonna be something that hasn't been done before.
Ooh, that's exciting. That's quite the tease.
For retail. And so we're going to be launching that soon.
That's
so
his metaverse
just getting
shop.
everything. That's my metaverse.
You heard it here first.
Yeah. Because it's an allocation of funds as well, right? So what do you do? Is it on expansion? Is it on operations? Is it on, on more product? Is it on more quality of whatever it may be? So is it on ads? Is it on marketing? I mean, one of the signs, my biggest beliefs are a business is sales and marketing at the absolute fore. So majority of the money gets put back into that section.
Have you never thought about fundraising? There's a recent, 6 months ago, there was a Emirati mothers and babies site. I forget the name. That's a big one.
Oh, you think Mum's World?
Mum's World.
Yes.
And they raised, 10 mil?
We sell to Mum's World.
Yeah, so they did a 10 mil raise.
Yeah, they've done a few rounds.
Yeah, they did it. I think this was for infrastructure.
Okay.
So warehousing to make the supply chain better, faster, better customer experience. Have you ever thought about going that direction?
Thought of all these avenues, thought of everything, banks, everything. I think at the moment, we are just reinvesting back into the business. I've seen times where this has happened. You can be very constricted as well. So the minute you start going into those, and I see it's not the same business as it once was when it started off. So once you have a lot more shareholders on board, it becomes a different ball game completely. We've just been very much wanting to adopt ourselves, our own kind of philosophy on it, and who's to say? Who knows what might happen? But we've looked at a lot of different avenues, and at the minute we're comfortable with what we're doing there, and no one to really answer to in that respect. Who knows what might change? So, but and then there's a lot of other projects on the go at the minute as well. So it's just about...
So you're all guns blazing at the moment.
All guns blazing, yeah, absolutely.
and you
Dark circles.
You have an event coming up?
Sorry?
I saw you have an event coming up.
Yes, and this is part of really the KT brand. It's called Gladiator Mastery. And again, it was just to wake up Bahrain and give the tools needed for business owners, strategies to succeed. So it's an event that was founded by a gentleman called Darish Saudi.
Okay. And
he's a multi-millionaire businessman, entrepreneur. He won Dubai Entrepreneur of the Year. And he'd set up Gladiator Mastery. He's been doing events all across the world. And when I was so taken back, I've been doing events as well all across the world and seeing different events, business events, and a lot of times it's just not great. You know, you go to an event and I don't know,
get bored.
I mean, it's just someone talking for like 2 hours, and I've been to events, and I came out and I go, I don't know what happened there. I really, and you start daydreaming, you start thinking of other things, you know, and I leave and I say, well, that was 2 hours. It was like a days, and I didn't have no takeaways from this whatsoever, like literally zero takeaways. So I've seen some bad ones, and a lot of times they're also professors, and it's nothing against professors, but professors have not generally had businesses. They don't know how to run it. They don't know how to recruit, how to get right people, how to go through the ups and downs. And there's always going to be downs and ups in business, and how you react to that. So professors can only give what they see as textbop type of standard.
A very academic approach,
right? Which is never...
I remember falling asleep in a lot of business lectures in university.
You went to Kingston, right?
Yeah.
It's that's what it is. It's someone just talking for an hour and explaining. But unless it's interactive.
So what's the difference in your approach?
Okay, so our approach is it's going to be held by entrepreneurs. So serial entrepreneurs. So Darish is the Dubai-based entrepreneur, and I'm going to be, and I bought the franchise for Bahrain and Saudi Arabia.
Okay. You bought the franchise?
I bought the franchise. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's basically what it is, a 2-day business event focusing on bringing people together, 30 to 40 people, and we're going to be discussing sales, marketing, business development, negotiation and persuasion, how to create leads, referrals, how to go past it. So when you're dealing with an agency, when you're dealing with a client as an agency, and they say, let me think about it, or it's too expensive, I'll let you know next week. Yeah. How do you overcome that? What are those strategies?
Objection handling.
Exactly. Those are the types of skills and sets that we all need, not just, a business is a P&L and how
good can you make your spreadsheet?
Yeah, and then it's always this professor will pull up like Elon Musk or something, Jeff Bezos, and go, this is how you could do it, Bill Gates, and it's just there's no real relevance of examples of what to go through because you can't relate. So that's what we try and do, make it very relatable, and it's spoken about to 30 to 40 people in a room. So it's not 100 people. It's a real touch point. So we'll be talking about your business. We'll engaging. Exactly. Yeah. And it's like-minded people in one room. And at the end of it, you know what? You're just hugging each other. Because it's the same mindset. Yeah. A lot of times in Bahrain, and also I would say even in the UK, being honest, you'd go to an event and everyone's they always holding back, very reserved, right?
Well, that sounds exactly like England.
Oh, it is, isn't it? And we don't learn much. Have you noticed that? We don't actually learn much. So when you're speaking to someone who's a CEO or someone who's done something great, they don't talk to you about, hey, try this, try that. No one wants to share their experiences. People are very not happy to talk vulnerability either. Yeah. But that is the only way to learn and to grow. And so once we're there, we'll talk about what we're finding difficult in our business. How do we overcome that? What approaches could we use on all types of things? Negotiation. There's a section on negotiation, how to effectively negotiate better. And it's not just we've got to get to the right price or whatever. It's more than that. It's about, we'll go to this in the course.
Is it a paid event or a free event?
It's a paid event. Okay. It's a paid event. People don't value something that's free.
We say this all the time.
Yeah. It's right. You could have it. You could say it's free and everything is there, and people will just not value it. And you won't get the right people.
Yes.
And the people who want to change and people who want to be in the same room.
If people invest in their own development, then they've got they've already broken. They've got the start of that mindset of where you want to go. You can't beat people into believing that they should do more for themselves.
That's right.
That first step is so critical.
Yep.
How much is it, by the way?
280 BD.
And it's already sold out, or?
We are half. We only put it up, I think, 2 days ago.
Yeah.
Half the tickets already sold.
Nice.
Which is great.
Where will it be?
Four Seasons. So it'll be at the Four Seasons, and we'll look after you in terms of food, lunches, beverages, coffee.
So how many days and when?
2 days, March the 11th and 12th, Friday and Saturday. Purposely, it's over a weekend, so it doesn't disrupt anyone's working life.
No excuse.
No excuse. That's the key to it. And when you come in, you'll be with like-minded people who will have that same mindset. It's not going to just be someone who's got, who's just there for the sake of being there because they've paid that money. They're like, I want to network. I want to learn. I want to know some strategies to really help me in my business. And we even, we're that, I would say, not confident in what we're doing. We offer a full refund after day one. If after day one you feel this isn't really not for me, I didn't like this, I don't want to go on, no problem at all, no questions asked, we'll just give you a refund.
That's good.
We're very comfortable that we've never had in the Gladiator Mastery program any refunds given, because no one, but that's how we want to approach it.
So assurance.
To just give people that
satisfaction guaranteed.
Exactly.
What does a guest list look like? I mean, you've sold half, so what type of people? What type of people are coming?
We're going to have entrepreneurs, CEOs. There are CEOs from big companies out here, founders. There's a guy who just bought a ticket just before. Actually, he's got 160 employees in his company.
Oh, wow.
And it's great. And he's doing brilliantly. And so these are people you'll be networking with and speaking with, but it's also strategies for them to go back to their teams with. You see, we sometimes we kind of know what needs to be done, and then it's getting the team to act upon it. And that's the hard part. So we talk a lot about that in this, is like, see, these are the strategies, implement this tomorrow. So we're not the type of thing, well, nice to see you at the event. We create a Gladiator community group, so we'll be all part of a group, and we'll be there for each other. We'll talk to each other. We'll anything business related, anything. You're part of a network. I mean, when I left the last Gladiator, we're all hugging each other. We're still in contact. Everyone's very supportive of each other, because then you're surrounding yourself with like-minded winners.
Yeah,
I like that.
I really like this idea. This is very similar to a book I'm writing at the moment.
Oh, right.
Non-corporate communication.
Okay.
You've been in corporates, and you've got the legal background too. You get taught a lot, especially at law school. You really get taught how to speak, how to communicate. But if you don't come from a corporate and you haven't worked in like a top 5 global law firm, and they've shown you how to write emails and how you're supposed to speak and how to like persuade people, I find that where can you go exactly like that for a course? So I've been writing a book.
That's amazing. When's it coming out?
Well, I mean,
it's hard writing a book.
It is. I'm a writer by trade as well, but it's more having the time to do it.
It's been a couple of years in the process at the moment.
A couple of years, like 6 months. 6 months. I've written a great deal of it, but it's that non-corporate communication. I think a lot of the things you're saying is, it's fine you knowing the idea, but you need to be able to communicate well with your team.
That's right.
And they need to know how to communicate.
That's right.
Ideas don't get done by a person. It's teams.
Yes.
So you have to have everybody on board, and everybody needs to know how they can speak to each other, how they can get this done together.
And it's training, and it's repetition.
It's not natural. You're not born with this. You're taught this. You learn this.
That's right.
Yeah,
That's right.
I love the idea of your course.
Thank you.
Is this the first event?
It's going to be the first event.
Okay. Amazing.
We're super excited, really excited to be hosting this. And I think, well, from the feedback we've had already, it's going to be great for Bahrain as well. And putting people in a room who want to learn, want to strategize, want to be, life is about abundance. We want abundance. And we don't talk about money. It's a British thing. It's also a Bahrain thing, not a Dubai. Dubai and US have a different way of talking about money, but we don't talk about it enough. And I actually say to people when you're coming on the course, we're going to be discussing money. It's not a bad thing. We're going to discuss how to get over the culture part of it. Have you noticed too many times you'll say you're calling someone up, or the team will, and they'll say, oh, I'm not sure, maybe it's lunchtime, maybe they're busy, maybe it's evening, or maybe they're having dinner with their families.
Yeah.
And you're like, what are you talking about, man? Like, seriously, you know, it is, what is, again, is limited beliefs, this culture part of it. I've had it in my own companies, and that's where I'm really talking from. And it's just to get over that. If you don't make that call, or you don't engage with your customer or your client, even if it's at 12:30 or 1 o'clock, you'll never know. It's as definite as zero, whereas there's a possibility. And people want to be not sold to, but people do want to be called. We just think that they don't.
Yeah,
right? That
if you're
is the
offering
actual
value,
truth.
Well,
and you're trying to help them, then they would want the information.
Well, that's it. But it could be on
It's true,
anything.
but then you get burnt like me. Like, you know, my first job was in a call center, you know,
Right.
in Kingston.
Right.
You know, selling credit cards to people, and
You're selling credit cards.
You can like getting
That's
people to sign
great.
up.
That's
But
great
you know
life
how many?
training, by the way.
It's amazing. But you know, it's in London. Don't forget.
Yeah.
Calling me at tea time, mate. Blah blah blah. You know, you hear so much negativity that you really got to have a strong mindset to be able
Thick
to do the job
skin
like that.
and let it go.
100%.
And you know what? There's a thing. Just next person. There's always
Yeah.
going to be that.
Yeah.
That's just expect it.
Yeah.
They'll be expected to put your phone down on you. And I think what happens is, I saw unbelievable. It's relentless. The book is literally just keep going. You
Yeah.
just keep going, keep going,
Yeah.
keep going, and you'll have that success.
Don't let emotions get involved, and you'll
No.
be solid.
That's it. Because the minute we start to overthink it and go, oh my God, I don't want to have that same conversation
Yeah.
again. I don't want to.
Yeah.
I don't want to disrupt my client. I've asked them 5 times already. You know, I don't want to do that. But if you don't,
You're not gonna get
never
it.
going to get it done. And but we live in that. We live in that fear. We go, it's okay. We'll let it be. Okay, tomorrow. There's always tomorrow. And it's just time goes by.
Yeah,
Days
the power
go by.
of now.
Yeah, just get on with it. Like,
Power now, yeah.
let's go. That's how, you know, it's my motto on every bit is just let's go. There's no, if you want it, you think it, just do it. There's
Love
no,
it.
what's the point of waiting? What's the worst that could happen?
They
What
say
is the
no.
worst?
It's
They
exactly.
say
They just
no.
say no. That's
But
it.
what's the best that could happen, right? Someone like, you know, say, I don't know if you're into cars or whatever it may be, someone just calls you up and, hey, guess what? I've got an amazing deal on this car or whatever it may be. Now, what will happen is you may not want that car at that minute. You go, I've got a perfectly nice car. But that will register in the subconscious. When you go back to looking at a car, you're going to go to that person or that dealership, right?
Yeah.
And you're going to say, so tell me more. What are you doing here?
Yeah.
It's just what it is. So, you know, a lot of people don't have that long-term approach either.
Yeah.
So just get in front of your customers and follow up as well. So there's a lot of that. Follow-up is huge.
I would say
That we don't
90% of deals die in the follow-up.
do. Totally. The after
Because there is
sales
no
are
follow-up.
There is no follow-up. It's sold, and then you have a problem. You can't get hold of someone, right? You know, wouldn't it be amazing if you called up a credit card company, or a bank, and someone answered and just said, "Hello, hi, Mr. Trehan, how are you doing? Well, how can I help you today?" Wouldn't that just be incredible? You know, so it's
We actually have a podcast coming up about call centers.
right.
The difficulty of getting through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, like it's
But-
we'll
but-
leave it as a teaser for now.
But you know,
I'm excited to see that.
But I would say that, like, you know, in the banks, like, you know, like you're on hold for a long time when you're calling up your credit card company. These call centers literally have 2 people. Like, there is no massive call center, by the way. So, like, you know, I don't want to mention the name of the banks, but like, you know, because I had friends who worked there, they're literally teams of 2. And so, of course, they can't take on the calls, you know, from everyone at the same time.
And it's bad because the investment by the bank or whoever, the company, if that is what a big component of their business is, they're not investing anything on that.
No.
Right?
No.
And that is the sad part. And so there needs to be an education around that.
Yeah.
I think
how
they know.
to.
I think they know. Have they never called their own company? They must know.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean, this is something that, like, you know, for me, you know, like I worked in banking in Australia, in London. I just really don't think the customer service is there in Bahrain in the banking sector.
No.
It doesn't compare.
It's way behind. I mean, and that's where there's a lot of opportunity.
I agree.
You know, if just to do things right, you know, be good to your customer, follow up, offer that after sales, you'll kill it.
Yeah.
Any business will kill it out here.
And you notice simple things, right? So, like, you have an account, let's say, with a bank, and then you're like, I want to open a new account today. bring your ID back, bring everything back again. I'm like, shouldn't it just be on file?
Exactly. They make it as hard as possible.
Exactly.
And you think to yourself, why do I have to go over obstacles for this? And then you end up just going, I can't be bothered.
Exactly, exactly.
You know, and that's what it is. And you just, because you know in the mind, especially if you have a problem with your phone or you have a problem with a credit card or a bank, you know immediately, you're doing the roll, you're closing your eyes, you're going, oh no, I'm prepared for a half an hour of misery, right? I am set for misery now. And it's crazy, but it shouldn't be like that.
Yeah,
but
this is exactly why we're doing
and it has
podcast.
been, it hasn't changed.
Yeah, and this is what I want to do, this podcast episode, where we call up a few places and we're just basically not going to give our opinion on it, but we're going to say, how hard is it to speak to a human? All of these big companies, like, how difficult is it really just to have a conversation about a thing?
Yeah, I give up, by the way.
I give up.
With the telecoms, I give up. I'm like, press this. I want to buy something.
Yeah.
I'm like, you know what? I give up. Should I go to the store?
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah,
It's crazy how much money's left off the table.
You know, here's the funny one. So I get a laptop from a telecom company.
Okay.
And they're like, okay, do you want to buy it online? I was like, yes, I'll buy it online. So I buy it online. And then it takes 5 days for them to deliver it. Okay. And I'm like, okay. In Bahrain. So then they come. Okay, and the delivery guy comes and he gives me an envelope. I was like, this is a bit small for a laptop, you know, this envelope. And what is it? It's a voucher to then go back to the store and grab the laptop. I'm like, what? Why didn't I just go to the store in the first place? Why did I buy this online?
Yeah, I mean, when you told me that story,
this is part of the fun process, isn't it?
And they're like, oh, sorry, it's not in stock at the moment. So wait another 2 weeks. And I was like, I'm not going to wait 2 weeks. Wait, which store are you getting it from? Oh, it's that Apple shop. Okay, luckily I have a friend who works in that business. Yeah. And like he managed to fast track it for me the next day.
You shouldn't have to use Wasta to give people money. No. I want to give you money, but I have to use Wasta to
get the product.
Yeah, exactly. You know, or it's
now we've got Wasta. We need baby stuff.
Yeah, we need. Anyone needs baby stuff, baby essentials. Karan is the guy.
Well, thank you so much for coming. Honestly, I've really enjoyed this conversation.
Same here.
100%.
It's been great. We've discussed a lot of great.
Yeah,
great.
And I would like to invite you on after your course. I want to see how it goes for you, how people are. So whenever you've got time, I'd love you to come back.
Because we still had so many topics like the childhood that you wanted to come back with and stuff. Yeah. But sadly, we've run out of time today. Yes. But we should definitely do a part 2.
I'd love to. Would love to.
Thank you so much for the gifts. Do you want to? Should we?
Yeah.
Let's grab those gifts. One of the off-camera team. Are they both in there? Thank you so much. Okay, so thank you.
So guys, is the perfect gift considering for the topic that we discuss. The 10x rule in life.
The 10x rule.
I've always wanted to read that.
And relentless.
As
was mentioned earlier in the podcast.
Absolutely.
We're going to be relentless.
these were 2 books that really had a major impact on my life, and I thought. You know, what's the best thing? Pay it forward, and
so kind of
it. So some great nuggets in there.
Appreciate that. Amazing. Well, Karan, thanks a lot for coming. We had so much fun.
Thank you so much for having me.
Time flew by.
It did.
2 minutes.
Can't wait to be back for the second part. And if you do have time, come by as well for the event. It'll be an unbelievable thing to have you guys there. So
it's very kind of
amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Thanks.